Welcome and a good night of Shabbos. We are in Parshas Tetzaveh, Tetzaveh, where this week we celebrated Moshe Rabbeinu's birthday on 7th of Adar and his Yortzeit, and that's connected to Purim. That Haman was happy that the Raffle came out on Adar, where Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. And the Gemara says he did not know that Moshe Rabbeinu was born, and the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu is really a kapora, is overpowering the passing away. Okay, so let's see what we could do with the Parsha and with the idea of Moshe Rabbeinu. What means for us to help us in Shenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. So real Simcha, and every day more and more Simcha for 60 days. And then the Simcha for forever, Simcha for Mashiach. Okay, so let's go with a few questions. As I said, the question is to open up the windows, and then we'll answer some of them directly, and I think some of them will be answered indirectly, and if not, we have the homework to find answers for the question that we not answer. Okay, question number one: why is Moshe Rabbeinu's name not mentioned in the Parsha? I'm sure everybody knows the different answer why, but this is something unique from Moshe Rabbeinu was born. Every parsha Moshe Rabbeinu is mentioned. This is one parsha. It's called the full name of Tetzaveh. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage? Superficially, it looks like a disadvantage, but obviously it's an advantage. It's a greatness, a higher level. Why? Also, it says Tetzaveh. Normally, Hashem says Tzaves b'nei Yisrael, but doesn't say to give over the commandment to the Jewish people. But Tetzaveh is implying Moshe Rabbeinu is the commander. Moshe Rabbeinu is not the commander. Moshe Rabbeinu is a shliach, is a messenger of the Eibishter to give over the commandment to the Jewish people. So why is he writing it in such a way that's emphasizing like Moshe Rabbeinu is the commander? Then it's the Tetzaveh. Should bring to Moshe Rabbeinu Shem Ezai Zach Kassis Lamar. Should bring the oil to Moshe Rabbeinu. Why to Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu is a Levi. The one who lead the Menorah is the Kehanim, and especially Aaron. Yiddish way should bring it to the all the nations of Brat. Or if yes, bring it to Aaron. Why to Moshe? So here we say. But Tetzaveh is something that Moshe Rabbeinu has to do. Simple pshat is commandment, but we'll soon see something much more than that. And then V'yikchu Elecha, that the Jewish people have to do. What is in a deeper level, according to Chassidus, what does Moshe Rabbeinu have to do here? And what does the Jewish people have to do here? What is Moshe Rabbeinu, and why is it not enough what Moshe Rabbeinu is doing, or why is it not enough what the Jewish people will do? We'll see. Then in this first pasuk of the parasha, pasuk Chav, Tetzaveh v'yikchu Elecha Shem Ezai Zoch Kosis Lamoyer Lahales Neir Tomid, Lahales Neir Tomid. The candles should light always. Next pasuk, the next verse, pasuk Chav Aleph, pasuk 21, verse 21, says there Me'erev ad Beker, that you should burn the candelabra. The candles should burn from evening till morning. That was the physical things. So why is it changing like in between one pasuk says Ner Tomid, the next one says Me'erev ad Beker. Okay. Okay, then say like that. The Jewish people are called Ma'aminim Bnei Ma'aminim, believers, children of believers. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said that the Tetzaveh Moshe is the commander, what means he is connecting. Tetzaveh is from the word Tzaveh v'chibur, connection and binding. The Tetzaveh is Bnei Yisrael. You should connect, not only command them, but you should connect the Jewish people with who? With the Eibishter. So Moshe Rabbeinu's job, as we ask the question, what is Moshe Rabbeinu's job? Is to connect the Jewish people with the Eibishter. That's his job. Not only give over the commandments, not only a messenger giving over the delivery boy, or even a teacher. He's connecting the Eden with Ein Sof with the Eibishter. How does he connect them? What is the manifestation of that? What is the effect of that he's connecting with the Eibishter? So we're saying a Jew by nature, by birth, by the essence of his being, is called Ma'aminim Bnei Ma'aminim, believers, children of believers. A Jew believes in the Eibishter. Not only understands that it could understand also that there's a Eibishter, but he believes in the Eibishter. Where does it come that the Jew is a believer in the Eibishter? That comes from that says that Mazla Yechazi. The neshama that is clothed, that comes then into our body, is the lower level of the neshama. The higher level of the neshama remains above us in the higher worlds. Obviously, depends on the level of the person. If he's a neshama of a tzaddik, so he has more in his body. But ultimately, there's always more outside of the body than most of the time than in the body. So the neshama that did not come into the body, that doesn't have the problem of the cover, of the concealment of the body conceals over the neshama that's in the body has a concealment of the body and the animal soul over the neshama. And therefore, the neshama is not free to see and feel and hear what really by nature she could. But the level of the neshama that remains, that did not come down to the body, that level of the neshama is called Mazla Yechazi, sees godliness. And because the neshama l'mayla sees godliness, that affects the neshama in the body that has emunah. So emunah is a result, a real emunah, not just somebody says, I believe that it's day now, I believe it's night now. The real concept of emunah, they call just like there's a definition of logic has a definition, emotion has a definition. The definition of emunah, what means emunah, you believe, why you believe, only if you believe because something that you neshama in his sheirish, in the high level, that's not sees godliness, that is nasal, that leaks in, that has an effect of the neshama in the body, and that's why a Jew by nature has a emunah. Because he has a neshama, and the neshama l'mayla sees elikus, sees godliness, and therefore he has emunah in the neshama in his body. That's why he's ma'aminim. That's the definition of a Jew. That's the definition. He has a godly soul, and the godly soul that's in the body cannot see godliness because he has the cover up. But the neshama that's not melubish in the group, that the neshama that part of the neshama, the deeper level of the neshama, remains above, sees godliness. That's where comes the emunah. But this emunah is still not satisfactory. It's not satisfactory. Satisfaction. Why? Because this emunah remains in eifnishal makiv. A person could believe 100% in the Eibishter and do something else against the Eibishter. That means that emunah is because in the body it just comes because from effect from that what leaks in from the neshama that's above, but in the neshama in the body it remains a surrounding idea. It's not really internalized to be absolute reality to him. Just like a person will not walk into a street when the cars are flying because he realizes it's real to him. The emunah that a Jew has, mitzad the emunah that is of the neshama, because the neshama l'mayla above sees godliness, it remains of what's called a makiv dike emunah, means, and he believes 100%, but it's not internalized like it's an absolute fact. And therefore, we need Moshe Rabbeinu. What he reveals, he's connecting us with Ein Sof by how? By revealing the etzem neshama, the essence of the neshama of the Jew, well, that is higher than the neshama, even the neshama that's beyond the body, that did not come into the body. The essence of the neshama is mamish one with the Eibishter. So Moshe Rabbeinu reveals in the Jew by being the Nosea there, being the head of the nation. He reveals the etzem neshama of the Jew. That's where his emunah becomes an absolute emunah. That mamish pnimis dikim, I mean, internalized emunah, that this becomes a reality to him, and then his whole behavior is affected by this emunah. So that is the idea of Moshe Rabbeinu. Tetzaveh, the Rabbi tells him, Tetzaveh, you connect them with me within Sof, that the emunah should be in a pnimius. That's number one. Then comes another level. So again, we're talking the Jew has the neshama in his body. That is covered with the body and the animal soul. Then you have a higher level, the neshama that's beyond the body. It's not in the body. And from there leaks into the neshama in the body, the emunah. Then you have the etzem neshama that is one with the Eibishter, and that's where it has the idea of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is the one where him and the Jews and the Eibishter, he's the level of the essence and neshama of all Jewish people. And it's where it's one with the Eibishter, and that he brings that revelation in them. Therefore, the emunah comes into a pnimius. Furthermore, Moshe Rabbeinu, right, made his people to be a generation of knowledge, called a deir. What means knowledge? Not information. Knowledge means recognition and a real appreciation of godliness. It said that his generation was a deir. Right? Chochmeh bina das, deir, miloshin das. Deir is connection and appreciation and recognition, and it becomes absolutely real. That they were a generation that had das and elikus. The whole generation was a deir. Where did that come from? Again, normally a person doesn't have das and elikus, doesn't have a real appreciation, a real recognition, a real connection to godliness because he's covered with the body and the nefesh habamis. But because Moshe is mamshich, revealing, bringing, connecting the Jew with the etzem neshama, so because of the etzem neshama that's one with Eibishter and the Jew, he could have, it manifests itself that the emunah that he had before in the Eibishter, even before, but when it wasn't the internalized emunah, comes down, becomes an internalized emunah, becomes a day appreciation, a real recognition, a real connection to the Eibishter, that his appreciation of Elokus is an absolute real, and I would say even in his knowledge. So what we did now, we bring in the etzem neshama that brings the person to have a pnimis dikei emunah and the understanding of emunah and a recognition and a real relationship to the Eibishter. That all comes from the etzem neshama. Then comes another idea, what Moshe Rabbeinu again is doing. That's more happening in the generations later. After the spark of Moshe Rabbeinu, the expansion of Moshe Rabbeinu is in every generation. Every generation has a person who is the head of the generation, has this pashtusa the Moshe bechol dor v'dor. So, he's using the example in the idea of Mordechai HaTzadik. They are revealing the etzem neshama of the Jew in a time when there is decrease against Yiddishkeit and becomes dangerous to be connected to keep Yiddishkeit. That the Jew should be able to have Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice. That comes also mitzad etzem neshama. When you reveal the essence of the neshama, and that is the job of the heads of the generation. Like by Mordechai, it says Mordechai b'derech k'Moshe b'derech. Mordechai was in his generation, like Moshe Rabbeinu in his generation, that he brought the revelation of the etzem neshama. It manifests itself not only that the emunah was in a pnimius, and not only that they were there, not necessarily there lab dafka, could be they were not there, but the emunah was in a pnimius, but they should have mesiras nefesh, put the life in danger, give away the life for not disconnecting themselves from the Eibishter, because only the gilu of the etzem neshama, the revelation of the etzem neshama is one with the Eibishter, cannot think about, entertain the idea of Chas v'Shalom to separate. And therefore, the hidden in time of Purim, right, that was a decree against them, they could save themselves by converting out of Yiddishkeit. Not only no Jew converted out of Yiddishkeit, but no Jew even entertained the idea of converting out of Yiddishkeit. That because the Gilu of Ata Tetzaveh Moshe is connecting them with Etzem neshama and came out in a deeper level, in a higher level, but the expansion of Moshe Rabbeinu in time of Golus, when there was. So this is the Gilu of Etzem neshama to the head of the generation, Moshe Rabbeinu of the generation, and the idea of having a decree of being crushed by the decrees of Haman, in that case of Haman, or in other generations, whoever was the Haman at that time. So that is a stage that the revelation of the Etzem and Hashem comes not only in a emunah bepnimi, not only in an internalized belief, but also comes out in the idea that he has Mesiras Nefesh, practically without even entertaining the idea of God forbidden to disconnect from the Eibishter. Okay, so now we came to the idea of we have the Jew by nature, that is a Mamin. Then we have a deeper level that we're revealing the Etzem and Neshama, connecting to Etzem and Neshama, becomes the Emunah, becomes belief, becomes internalized belief, it becomes a real Emunah to him. And because of that, it could be even become a Deo, a generation of knowledge and an absolute recognition, an absolute connection to the Eibishter. And then comes even a higher level in a certain aspect, that you reveal the Etzem and Neshama, that he'll have Mesiras Nefesh. And that's in that level, when he has self-sacrifice, not to disconnect himself from the Eibishter, is a bigger revelation of the Etzem than of the essence than in the generation of Moshe Rabbeinu with a generation of knowledge, of recognition. So I mean, we are going up the whole time. We're starting with the point of Ma'aminim, Ma'aminim, believers, children of believers. We got to the next step of the internalized the emunah that becomes an absolute real idea. It could become the idea of generation of knowledge, of absolute recognition of the Eibishter. That's even a higher level. And then becomes a higher level when the essence is really shining by him in a revealed way, where you'll have Mesiras Nefesh. Now comes so now we explained the question what we asked. What is the job of Moshe Rabbeinu about Tetzaveh? It's not just giving over a commandment. He's connecting the Jew with the Eibishter till he reveals in him Moshe Rabbeinu, and the Moshe Rabbeinu of every generation reveals the Etzem and Neshama. And that's good enough to celebrate. That itself, if we would stop here, we'll have a good reason to be simcha that Moshe Rabbeinu is connecting us with the Eibishter to all generations, and we always go higher and higher. But now let's learn the second part of the passage. The Jewish people have to bring the oil to Moshe. I said, why do they have to bring the oil to Moshe? What we're talking about is in a deeper level, according to Chassidus, we're talking about what the Jew has to do now. After he got everything from Moshe Rabbeinu, what does he have to do now? So let's look at please, what is we still missing? When the Jewish people in time of Haman, or in any point of history where there was a similar situation, where there was a power that tried to disconnect us from the Eibishter, even going last generation time in Russia, when the communism were trying to force from people to close the yeshivas and close the mikvahs, close the chadorim, kashrus. Then the essence of the neshama through the nasi of the generation, Mordechai Shebedeir and the Friedrich Rabbi in his generation, is Megale, reveals the etzem and neshama and have Mesiras Nefesh. But what's interesting, the same Jews that he had in Russia, Mesiras Nefesh for years, to keep chadorim, to make brisen, to make mikvahs. When they came to America, on most of them, I would say, not I'm thinking, it's the Rabbi saying, you couldn't see on them really that they had that Mesiras Nefesh. Why? Well, the minute they was pressing them against Yiddishkeit, so the essence kicked in, right? And they were willing and practically did, and some of them got killed and got tortured, give away their life for Yiddishkeit. But the minute you took away the pressure, there was no causes, there was no crushing, so the essence went back to his natural place. And the consciousness of that person, his intellectual appreciation and understanding and his emotional connection was good, but not at that level in line with the essence of the neshama. So it became, you cannot see on him that he's a person that had for 20 years or for 50 years had self-sacrifice every day of his life, put his life in danger for Yiddishkeit. Now it's gone. So even so, the essence of the neshama is the essence of the neshama, and therefore when it reveals, takes over everything, and he becomes completely Baal Mesiras Nefesh, has a self-sacrifice. But by the end of the essence of the neshama and the revelation of the neshama are two separate things. The essence is defined by being the essence and not revelation. The revelation is defined being revelation, not the essence. When the essence, when there's coming a point of crushing and the essence kicks in, so it takes over, then it takes over all the revelations, and that he's functioning on that level of the essence. But even then, when he's functioning level of essence, not in everything he has Mesiras Nefesh. In things that is more revealed by him, that you need to have Mesiras Nefesh to make a mikveh, to make a shul, to make a cheder. But in his private life could be other things, not necessarily. So basically the question is, how do we go, so we're not satisfied with that, not enough. We need to have the revealed consciousness of the person intellectually, emotionally, should be in line with the essence of the neshama. Not only when he's in danger. So that's what we're saying, that the Jew has to work on himself now when he has, that his consciousness, his revealed powers, at the level of the neshama that is revealed, that in his body, in his nefesh, should be in line with the essence of the neshama. That his logic should function, should appreciate the same reality like the essence of the neshama. In other words, the essence should penetrate, permeate completely. But we want with the revelation of the neshama that's down here in him, and it should be in the same line. Just want to share with you a story that I think expresses the idea. There was a Chassid, he passed away a few years ago, Rabbi Raskin. He was a shliach of the Rabbi in Morocco for probably from 1960 till now, about 50 years, right? 65. Yeah, almost 60 years. So anyway, so one day is Rabbi Chadakov calls him in, told him that he was about to get married, he was engaged. Do you want to go on shlichus of the Rebbe to open Lubavitch in Morocco? He said, yes, 100%, I'm ready to go. Chadakov, he can't say yes. You're engaged, you're going to have a wife, you're going to get married soon. You have to ask your wife if she's willing to go. He said, okay, I'll go and ask you, I'll come back to give you an answer. He went, asked his wife, she was just as Chassidah as he was, and she said, yes, for sure, we are going. Wherever the Rebbe wants us to go, we're going. Okay, he went to Rabbi Chadakov and told him, yes, we are going. So, and the news came out, in Lubavitch at that time, that Rabbi Raskin with his wife, after he's getting married, is going on shlichus to Morocco. Okay. Some people were saying, wow. Some were saying, it's crazy, whatever. So anyway, Shabbos morning, he went to the mikveh before Chassidus, and he's walking to 770 from the mikveh. He's walking on Eastern Parkway, if whoever knows, from Brooklyn to Kingston. Now the Rebbe used to come also from Brooklyn, more over on Eastern Parkway, and walk on Eastern Parkway to 770, basically a whole block. So on the way out from the mikveh, then they were walking on the side to 770 on Eastern Parkway. So older Chassid met Rabbi Raskin. He says to him, I don't understand you. It's such a big world. Why you have to go shlichus to Morocco? It's a country of Muslims that had a fight with the Jewish people, and it's a different culture. God, there's so many places you could go. You could go to Manhattan. If you could go to, even you want to go further, go to New Jersey. If you go to Canada. So he said, so they're having a whole argument. He says to them, we have no limitation. Whatever the Rebbe wants from us, we're going. And they were debating that. He said, no, you're crazy. The Rebbe would be happy with you even if you go to Los Angeles, wherever. Anyway, they're debating, and he says, no, that we are completely devoted to the Rebbe, and we know that whatever the Rebbe wants, that's what it has to be. And since I was asked by Rabbi Chadakov, and I understand it's coming from the Rebbe, they were debating. The next day, I don't know, maybe Rabbi Chadakov called him in. He said that the Rebbe was walking behind you and the Chassid when you're having a debate about going to Morocco, going to somewhere else. And the Rebbe was very happy the way you answered them. So why I'm bringing this story? But him was saying that not only because something kicked in the etzem and Mesiras Nefesh. No, in his logic and his emotions of him and his fiancée, his wife, future wife. felt that mamish that they have to go for the Rabbi in fire and water to do the shlichus, what you have to do in the world to bring Mashiach. There's no conditions. There's no I'm willing to go, but nothing to that place, not to that place, everything. That means I think that's a little bit of an example. Maybe it's a big example. I'm not sure. It's a big good example where the revealed consciousness and revealed neshama and your emotions are in line with the etzem neshama. Not only the etzem neshama has mesiras nefesh, but consciously you're all ready for that 100%. So how do we get to that? That your conscious level should be in line with etzem neshama. That Moshe Rabbeinu is not going to give you. He's going to give you the path that you should be able to do, but you have to do b'ikhelach. You have to bring it, Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? It's an interesting question. Why Moshe Rabbeinu is not giving it to us? Why? Officially, even he cannot do it to us. We have to want to give it. And what does it mean? What we are giving? What are we doing? By us working on ourselves to put our consciousness in line with the essence of the neshama, we are reaching to a deeper level of the etzem neshama that was not revealed when you had mesiras nefesh in Russia in the time of Mordechai Esther. As the Rabbi puts in the word, you have the essence of the neshama is limited, defined being the essence, but it's not the revelation. You have the essence of the neshama, the way it's rooted in the essence of the Eibishter. It's not your essence, it's the way it's rooted in the essence of the Eibishter, but that is not limited to be an essence and not revelation. And that level of essence penetrates completely into all the levels of revelation of the neshama also. And then such a person, he has to bring himself that his consciousness and his logic and his emotions should be completely in line with the mesiras nefesh, with self-sacrifice of the etzem neshama. What doesn't have to be a concept of there anymore, idea of somebody is threatening to kill you, but the idea of commitment and devotion to the Eibishter and to Yiddishkeit and to the Rabbi exactly on the level of the etzem neshama. And in such a case, the person will always have be in line with the etzem neshama. That's not going to be when a year later it will disappear. Why? Because here, before when the essence reveals because of hardship, because of oppression, so it kicks in the etzem, but when the problem moves, it falls back to his normality. But when he manages that his consciousness, his revealed powers, his revealed level of the neshama is in line with that, permeate completely one with the etzem neshama, that will remain forever, because it's not because of anybody oppressing or anything pushing him. But he has to be, the way to get it, he has to be crushed, he has to be unhappy that Mashiach is not here, that the essence of the Eibishter is not revealed. And he has to be broken of that in his consciousness, has to be bothering him, because the essence of the neshama shines in the consciousness, and it's like a catch-22. He has to work on himself. He should be broken that he wants the revelation of essence. That brings the revelation of the essence, absolute essence, as it rooted in the essence of the Eibishter. And then he becomes completely in that level where no matter what the changes to the situation outside is, his conscious, his intellectual perception, appreciation, and his emotional level of connection and commitment is permeated and in the level in line completely with the etzem neshama. So I'm running out of time. Just want to give that it manifests itself also in the idea of Avas Yisrael, to love your fellow Jew like yourself. Watching practical things. There is the love of a fellow Jew. What according to the Ramban says, Nachmani says you cannot feel a real loving like yourself, but you love the Jew. That means the Keches Agloim. You understand that he's your brother, that he's a Jew. We are coming from the same generation, same forefathers. But it's not mamish like yourself. That's from revealed powers. Then you have the revelation, I would say, of the essence of the neshama. In the words of the Alter Rebbe, chapter 32, that I've been gufik tofel, when a person comes to a level where his body and his is secondary to him, and nafshi, his soul is the main thing. So when it shines by him the soul, right, and he takes over the cover of the animal soul in the body, then he could love your fellow Jew like himself, because in the essence, in this revelation, it's from the soul point of view, Av Echad L'Kol Onos, one Father, right, to all of us. and we are in the same, and he could really have love for the other person like to himself, because he's one. From the point of view of the neshama, I would say, call it in our language, from the essence of the neshama. But then only if his body is secondary and his essence, the neshama is the ikar. But if mitzadinyone haguf, mitzad the ideas of the body, mitzad of the level from the point of view of the revelation of the neshama, you cannot have aveslo. Only when he leaves only the gufet tofel, his body is secondary, and the nefesh is the main. He leaves soul, then mitzad the soul is on. But when you have the love, when you have the revelation of the essence of the neshama, it's rooted in the essence of the Eibishter, but the revelation of your consciousness of all your 10 attributes are in line with the essence of the neshama, then the Rabbi said your love for a fellow Jew like yourself is also in the level of revelation of the neshama, even in the limited revelation of the neshama. It's completely in that, and also from the point of view of the body point of view, is also completely one with another Jew, and that brings the ultimate joy. And a person is not only has a neshama and therefore one with the Eibishter is happy, that even from the revelation of his neshama is a lower level, his consciousness, his all attributes, all his 10 powers of Chabad, Chochmah bin Adas, and the other one. And also from point of view of the body point of view, even with the ideas of the body, he's completely permeated, connected with the Eibishter, is one with the Eibishter. So then he's one with other Jews, and his joy is completely permeating in his whole being. And for that simcha, we should be paired together, break all the boundaries, and we have the revelation of the Rabbi Melech HaMashiach, now, immediately. We Shabbos, after Tetzaveh, in Beis HaMikdash, Klal Yisrael, and the Rabbi Melech HaMashiach. A good Shabbos, all the best.